Madam Sadat, could you please tell us how do you summarize the visit of President Nabon and his wife here, and what were the main accomplishments, please?
Well, I want to say that it was a very successful visit. The impression they left, both of them, President Nabon and Mrs. Nabon, with our people, you can't imagine really, they are very impressed by them, by both of them. And I believe, and my husband has, and President Nabon has discussed all the details in the press conference. And what I am looking for is just to exchange more visits so that we'll come closer and closer, and everything I believe in the future will be solved. These little things will be solved, but on the whole, really it was a very successful visit.
Could you elaborate a little bit about more specific things
Well,
that you have accomplished?
we decided,
the women,
well, we decided to have, we are going to exchange seminars. One will be held in Alexandria, one will be held in Tel Aviv at the end of June for the disabled. And Mrs. Navon also had made so many activities with our Minister of Social Affairs, and she invited her to go and to discuss something with children, and she's the rights of children or the law for children, and she's going there. And really we are going to send a Rida troupe, a folkloric troupe, to present our folkloric dance in Israel. And really, I believe that you have done such many things in just very short visit, which is very clever. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
גברת נבון, אפשר שאלה אחת? איך את מסכמת את הביקור? מה עם ההישגים?
אבל אני אמרתי. אתה לא הקלטת בזמן שזה? אתה רוצה שאני אחזור? בסדר, אז אני אשב רגע.
הגברת נבון, איך את מסכמת את הביקור? מה הם ההישגים שהושגו לדעתך בביקור הזה?
אני מקווה שלפני דבריי אתה נתת את הדברים של גברת סאדאת, ולכן אני יכולה רק לומר שאני סומכת שתי ידיים על מה שהיא אמרה. אלה הם ההישגים של הביקור שלנו, הדברים שהיא מנתה אותם, ובאמת אין לי מה להוסיף. אם אתה רוצה, בקיצור, בשלושה משפטים שאני אומר לך גם כן, ברצון. ובכן, ההישג הראשון הוא בעצם אולי יותר אמוציונלי, בהרגשה הטובה של... תעמדי פה בבקשה. אתה רוצה לשאול אחר כך? טוב, הישגי הביקור קודם כל במישור הפסיכולוגי, של הרגשה עמוקה מאוד של אחווה, ידידות, כמו שגברת סאדאת אמרה לי, במכונית. אנחנו בני דודים, הגיע הזמן שנתחיל להתנהג כמו בני דודים. אנחנו כל כך דומים, יש כל כך הרבה דברים משותפים בינינו, ובאמת זה מה שחשתי בכל פינה ובמפגשים שלי עם גברת סאדאת ועם נשים מצריות אחרות. באמת אין הבדלים. גם עם גברים מצריים ששוחחתי איתם, באמת אין הבדלים. מבחינה פרקטית יותר, אז כמו ששמעת, אנחנו נקיים שני סמינרים, אחד באלכסנדריה ואחד בתל אביב ב-20 ליוני, שימומנו על ידי ה-World Rehabilitation Fund. נקודה אחרת. הישגים אחרים שסוכמו ביני לבין השרה לעניינים סוציאליים וביטוח סוציאלי, דוקטור אמן אוסמן, וקיבלו את ברכתה של גברת ג'יהאן סאדאת והנשיא סאדאת. הם שאנחנו נקים מסגרת גג לחינוך ובעיות סוציאליות, ואנחנו נשתף פעולה בנושאים אלה ונשלח מומחים ונקים ועדה משותפת ונעבוד יחד בנושאים של חינוך ובעיות סוציאליות, מדיניות סוציאלית. דבר שלישי הוא נושא ערי המקלט, שכפי שאתה זוכר ודאי, זה רעיון שהעליתי בבמות בינלאומיות שונות, והם הסכימו, ושרת הסעד אמרה שהיא תומכת בזה בכל לב, היא תתמוך בי בכל פורום בינלאומי שהנושא הזה יעלה. דבר שלישי שסיכמתי עם שרת הסעד בהסכמת הנשיא ורעייתו, הוא את זה נוציא. דבר שלישי שסיכמתי עם שרת הסעד, זה מה שאנחנו קוראים בארץ עצרת בית הנשיא לשלום הילד. זה מעין לובי ישראלי של מומחים ישראלים באוניברסיטאות ובשטח, שיטפלו לדחוף, להשפיע בנושאים של קידום מעמדו של הילד ושיפור התנאים שניתנים לילד. הזמנתי את השרה לעניינים סוציאליים לישראל לפתיחה של העצרת, והיא אמרה שהיא תשמח מאוד לבוא. אלה הם הנושאים שנוגעים לשרה. פרויקט חמישי הוא הוצאת ספר אני אוציא בישראל, וזאת אומרת, נחזור עוד פעם. הדבר החמישי, תסלח לי, מחזיקה לך את היד.
سيد كمال منصور، مساء الخير.
مساء الخير.
هل هذه هي أول زيارة لك في مصر؟
نعم، أول زيارة أزور فيها مصر.
ما هي انطباعاتك من الشعب المصري بالنسبة لموضوع السلام؟
منذ أن وطأت قدمي أرض الكنانة والتقيت بالشعب المصري على مختلف طبقاته في الاجتماعات الرسمية وفي زياراتي الخصوصية، أنا اليوم أكثر تفهما لرغبة الشعب المصري في السلام، والأسباب كثيرة، منها أن الشعب المصري قد عانى من الحروب التي خاضها وتضرر اقتصاده، وإن هنالك تحديات لا مثيل لها تواجه الشعب المصري بسبب كثرة السكان، بسبب قلة استغلال الموارد الطبيعية، بسبب الوضع الاقتصادي الذي يعاني منه الشعب المصري بسبب الحروب. ولذلك في نظري الشعب المصري اليوم أنا متأكد أنه يريد السلام، يتوق للسلام، لأن الحروب لم تحل له أي مشكلة، بل بالعكس عقدت له المشاكل. وإذا كان هنالك من أمل فأمل السلام أمامه، من الممكن أن يفتح له المجال الواسع للعيش وللتقدم وللاستفادة من هذا الوضع الصحيح.
سيد كمال، قضيت 5 أيام في مصر، رأيت الكثير وسمعت الكثير، ما هو العطاء الذي قدمته لك هذه الزيارة؟
أولا، الشعب المصري شعب نبيل. الشعب المصري في نظري يؤمن بعدة أشياء: بالصبر والصبور، بالأمل لأنه يأمل، وثالثا يؤمن بزعيم قائد ملهم هو الرئيس محمد السادات الذي قاده إلى الطريق الصحيح. وفي نظري أن الشعب المصري سيتمكن إذا سار على هذه الطريق، سيتمكن من تحقيق الأشياء التي كانت من المستحيل تحقيقها، بل كانت معجزة من معجزات الزمن. وأنا أتذكر في الأربعينات عندما كنت أسمع عن هذه المشاكل من المواصلات، من السكن، من هذا، ما زالت توجد، وإذا أعطيت لها الفرص والإمكانيات والأموال وكل ذلك من الممكن بل من المؤكد أن يتمكن من تحقيقها.
هل تعتقد أن هذه الزيارة أعطت دفعة لمسيرة السلام بين مصر وإسرائيل، ولماذا؟
بطبيعة الحال أعطت، سيما وأن الرئيس نبون
أتبعم بطبيعة الحال.
بطبيعة الحال أعطت، سيما وأن الرئيس نبون واجه المصريين بلغتهم وتحدث إليهم من القلب إلى القلب. وفي اعتقادي أن هذه خطوة عظيمة جدا على لتحقيق عملية تطبيع العلاقات بين إسرائيل، لأن الشعب المصري الآن يعرف أكثر عن إسرائيل. وفي نظري، ولم أكن أتوقع غير ذلك، لأن الرئيس نبون حقق الآمال التي جاءت زيارته، وأنا سعيد جدا أنه قام بها.
سؤال أخير: ما هو أجمل ما رأيت في مصر وترك في نفسك أثرا عميقا لا يمحى؟
أجمل ما في مصر هو تاريخها العظيم. عندما يشاهد الإنسان هذه الآثارات عندما يشاهد هذه الأشياء التي بناها الإنسان من الأهرام، من الكرنك، من الأقصر، أسوان، يعتقد أن هذا الشعب كانت له حضارة عظيمة، ومن حقه أن يجدد هذه الحضارة في هذه المنطقة التي هي مهد الديانات والحضارات مشتركة بين جميع شعوب هذه المنطقة إن شاء الله.
سيد كمال منصور، شكرا.
So that we come closer and closer, and everything I believe in the future will be solved. These little things will be solved, but on the whole, really it was a very successful visit.
Could you elaborate about more specific things
Well,
that you have
we decided, the women, well, we decided to have, we are going to exchange seminars. One will be held in Alexandria, one will be held in Tel Aviv at the end of June for the disabled. And Mrs. Navon also had made so many activities with our Minister of Social Affairs, and she invited her to go and to discuss something with children. She's the rights of children or the law for children, and she's going there. And really, we are going to send a Rida troupe, a folkloric troupe, to present our folkloric dance in Israel. And really, I believe that you have done such many things in just very short visit, which is very clever. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
אבל אני אמרתי. אתה לא הקלטת בזמן שזה? אתה רוצה שאני אחזור? בסדר, אז אני אשב רגע.
הגברת נבון, איך את מסכמת את הביקור? מה הם ההישגים שהושגו לדעתך בביקור הזה?
אני מקווה שלפני דבריי אתה נתת את הדברים של גברת סאדאת, ולכן אני יכולה רק לומר שאני סומכת שתי ידיים על מה שהיא אמרה. אלה הם ההישגים של הביקור שלנו, הדברים שהיא מנתה אותם, ובאמת אין לי מה להוסיף. אם אתה רוצה, בקיצור, 3 משפטים שאני אומר לך גם כן, ברצון. ובכן, ההישג הראשון הוא בעצם אולי יותר אמוציונלי, בהרגשה הטובה של.
לאחר ביקור בשני בתים, הנשיא סאדאת עולה עם הנשיא נבון לרכב, רכב הנשיאות הזה הפתוח, שניהם עומדים, שומרי הראש משני הצדדים עומדים על המכונית ונוסעים הלאה בדרכם כאן בכפר.
אתה רוצה לשאול אחר כך?
לאחר שסירו בשלושה בתים בכפר,
קודם כל במישור הפסיכולוגי
המשיכה השיירת הנשיא
של הרגשה עמוקה מאוד
בדרכה לביתו,
אחווה,
לבית
ידידות, כמו
ילדותו
שגברת סאדאת אמרה לי
של אנואר
במכונית.
סאדאת בכפר.
אנחנו בני דודים, הגיע הזמן
נכנסו לשם,
שנתחיל
העיתונאים לא
להתנהג
הורשו
כמו בני
להיכנס.
דודים. אנחנו כל כך דומים,
לכל אורך
יש כל כך
הדרך,
הרבה דברים משותפים בינינו.
קריאות ברכה.
ובאמת זה מה שחשתי
הנשיא
בכל
סאדאת,
פינה
הכפרים
ובמפגשים
עומדים
שלי
על
עם
הגגות.
גברת סאדאת ועם נשים מצריות אחרות.
ומכונית
באמת
שמשמיעה
אין
שירים,
הבדלים.
כנראה שירי ברכה
גם עם גברים
לנשיא, מלווה
מצריים
את
ששוחחתי
השיירה,
איתם, באמת אין הבדלים.
שהרמקול משמיע בקול
מבחינה
רב
פרקטית
את
יותר, אז
השירים.
כמו ששמעת, אנחנו נקיים 2 סמינרים,
וכעת
אחד באלכסנדריה ואחד
כאשר
בתל
ירד
אביב ב-20
הנשיא
ליוני,
נבון מן
שימונו על
המסוק,
ידי ה-World
הובא
Rehabilitation Fund.
לביתו של הנשיא סאדאת, ושם הם נועדו 20 דקות
נקודה אחרת,
לשיחה בארבע עיניים.
השרה לעניינים סוציאליים וביטוח סוציאלי, דוקטור אמן אוסמן, וקיבלו את ברכתה של גברת ג'יהאן סאדאת והנשיא סאדאת. שאנחנו נקים מסגרת גג לחינוך ובעיות סוציאליות, ואנחנו נשתף פעולה בנושאים אלה ונשלח מומחים ונקים ועדה משותפת ונעבוד יחד בנושאים של חינוך ובעיות סוציאליות, מדיניות סוציאלית. דבר שלישי הוא נושא ערי המקלט, שכפי שאתה זוכר ודאי, זה רעיון שהעליתי בבמות בינלאומיות שונות, והם הסכימו, ושרת הסעד אמרה שהיא תומכת בזה בכל לב, תתמוך בי בכל פורום בינלאומי שהנושא הזה יעלה. דבר שלישי שסיכמתי עם שרת הסעד בהסכמת הנשיא ורעייתו הוא את זה נוציא. דבר שלישי שסיכמתי עם שרת הסעד זה מה שאנחנו קוראים בארץ עצרת בית הנשיא לשלום הילד. זה מעין לובי ישראלי של מומחים ישראלים באוניברסיטאות ובשטח שיטפלו לדחוף, להשפיע בנושאים של קידום מעמדו של הילד ושיפור התנאים שניתנים לילד. הזמנתי את השרה לעניינים סוציאליים לישראל לפתיחה של העצרת והיא אמרה שהיא תשמח מאוד לבוא. אלה הם הנושאים שנוגעים לשרה. פרויקט חמישי הוא הוצאת ספר אני אוציא בישראל, וזאת אומרת, נחזור עוד פעם. הדבר החמישי, תסלח לי מחזיקה לך את היד.
سيد كمال منصور، مساء الخير.
مساء الخير.
هل هذه أول زيارة لك في مصر؟
نعم، أول زيارة أزور فيها مصر.
ما هي انطباعاتك من الشعب المصري بالنسبة لموضوع السلام؟
منذ أن وطأت قدمي أرض الكنانة والتقيت بالشعب المصري على مختلف طبقاته في الاجتماعات الرسمية وفي زياراتي الخصوصية، أنا اليوم أكثر تفهما لرغبة الشعب المصري في السلام، والأسباب كثيرة، منها أن الشعب المصري قد عانى من الحروب التي خاضها وتضرر اقتصاده، وإن هنالك تحديات لا مثيل لها تواجه الشعب المصري بسبب كثرة السكان، بسبب قلة استغلال الموارد الطبيعية، بسبب الوضع الاقتصادي الذي يعاني منه الشعب المصري بسبب الحروب. ولذلك في نظري الشعب المصري اليوم أنا متأكد أنه يريد السلام، يتوق للسلام، لأن الحروب لم تحل له أي مشكلة، بل بالعكس عقدت له المشاكل. وإذا كان هنالك من أمل فأمل السلام أمامه، من الممكن أن يفتح له المجال الواسع للعيش وللتقدم وللاستفادة من هذا الوضع الصحيح.
سيد كمال، قضيت 5 أيام في مصر، رأيت الكثير وسمعت الكثير. ما هو العطاء الذي قدمته لك هذه الزيارة؟
أولا، الشعب المصري شعب نبيل. الشعب المصري في نظري يؤمن بعدة أشياء: بالصبر والصبور، بالأمل لأنه يأمل، وثالثا يؤمن بزعيم قائد ملهم هو الرئيس محمد السادات الذي قاده إلى الطريق الصحيح. وفي نظري أن الشعب المصري سيتمكن إذا سار على هذه الطريق، سيتمكن من تحقيق الأشياء التي كانت من المستحيل تحقيقها، بل كانت معجزة من معجزات الزمن. وأنا أتذكر في الأربعينات عندما كنت أسمع عن هذه المشاكل من المواصلات، من السكن، من هذا، ما زالت توجد، وإذا أعطيت لها الفرص والإمكانيات والأموال وكل ذلك من الممكن بل من المؤكد أن يتمكن من تحقيقها.
هل تعتقد أن هذه الزيارة أعطت دفعة لمسيرة السلام بين مصر وإسرائيل، ولماذا؟
بطبيعة الحال أعطت، سيما وأن الرئيس نبون بطبيعة الحال أعطت، سيما وأن الرئيس نبون واجه المصريين بلغتهم وتحدث إليهم من القلب إلى القلب. وفي اعتقادي أن هذه خطوة عظيمة جدا على لتحقيق عملية تطبيع العلاقات بين إسرائيل، لأن الشعب المصري الآن يعرف أكثر عن إسرائيل. وفي نظري، ولم أكن أتوقع غير ذلك، في أن الرئيس نبون قد حقق الآمال التي من أجلها جاءت زيارته، وأنا سعيد جدا أنه قام بها.
سؤال أخير: ما هو أجمل ما رأيت في مصر وترك في نفسك أثرا عميقا لا يمحى؟
أجمل ما في مصر هو تاريخها العظيم. عندما يشاهد الإنسان هذه الآثارات، عندما يشاهد هذه الأشياء التي بناها الإنسان من الأهرام، من الكرنك، من الأقصر، أسوان، يعتقد أن هذا الشعب كانت له حضارة عظيمة، ومن حقه أن يجدد هذه الحضارة في هذه المنطقة التي هي مهد الديانات والحضارات مشتركة بين جميع شعوب هذه المنطقة إن شاء الله.
سيد كمال منصور، شكرا.
emergency. Secondly, the situation of tourists visiting Santa Catarina will continue in the future as it is now. That's to say, coming from Israel, they go to Santa Catarina. Deir Al will have another flight in the week instead of 3 and 4. Israeli exhibitions would come to Egypt, an Egyptian exhibition in Israel. Such exhibitions will contain the achievements of each people on the industrial, agricultural, and cultural fields. Start now preparing when both sides are ready. There will be this exchange of exhibitions. I told President Saadat that in my speech today, that I think, bi'awnillah, I'm going to make every party, I said that at time of war you need a headquarter for war. At time of peace you need a headquarter for peace. أيام الحرب قيادة عليا للحرب وأيام السلام قيادة عليا للسلام. And let's make this قيادة عليا للسلام. In a more practical way, we agreed that a joint committee would be formed to impose writers, sociologists, teachers, people representing the government to
לאחר
find
ביקור
ways and
בשני
means
בתים,
how to
הנשיא
promote
סאדאת
peace, to study all the
עם הנשיא נבון
implications
לרכב,
of peace
רכב
between two nations
הנשיאות הזה
being
הפתוח,
at war with
שניהם
each
עומדים,
other.
שומרי הראש משני הצדדים
Four wars
עומדים על
for
המכונית
so many years, and
ונוסעים הלאה בדרכם
peace.
כאן בכפר.
There are obstacles
לאחר
and
שסיירו
practice
בשלושה
for the
בתים
joint
בכפר,
committee study at
המשיכה
the
השיירת הנשיא
how two people
בדרכה
can
לביתו,
come closer together.
לבית ילדותו של אנואר סאדאת בכפר. הם נכנסו לשם, העיתונאים לא הורשו להיכנס.
Youth,
לכל אורך הדרך,
Egyptian
קריאות
youth
ברכה,
and Israeli
הנשיא
youth
סאדאת,
will be
הכפרים
visiting
עומדים על
each other
הגגות, ומכונית
summer.
שמשמיעה שירים, כנראה שירי
Until
ברכה
then,
לנשיא, מלווה את השיירה,
joint committee,
כשהרמקול משמיע בקול רב
joint committee
את
will
השירים.
be studying the details and preparing it.
כעת
So
מתברר
that when,
שכאשר ירד הנשיא נבון
the
מן
study
המסוק,
year
הובא
ends and
לביתו
vacations
של הנשיא
begin,
סאדאת, ושם הם נועדו 20
we'll be
דקות
able to see
לשיחה
Egyptian
בארבע עיניים.
students, secondary schools, maybe elementary. We did not go into contacting their fellow boys and girls and Israeli boys and girls coming to Egypt, because we believe that the peace process and should include youngsters, so that when they grow up, peace would become a natural thing for them. The delegations that the Egyptian government has already announced or were prepared that they would come to Israel, they would be coming the parliamentarian delegation, then the party, الحزب الديمقراطي الوطني الديمقراطي. Delegation of editors was scheduled to come. Egyptian ministers will come to Israel. I think we mentioned industry, commerce, and tourism, businessmen, etc. That they would come in the near future.
New village under construction.
In the near future.
And the old houses also.
The
and to me,
President Saadat
my relatives
also agreed that
here who are
in
far
the near future
on the land until this moment.
there will be a ratification
Well,
by the Majlis, that's to say the government
let
will
us,
present all those agreements that have been signed between the two countries,
we have
flight,
discussed
on culture, on
together
commerce,
main
that these agreements will be ratified
first
by
one
the
is
Majlis in the near future.
autonomy talks. The second one is the normalization.
We spoke also about the said problem
have
of the
reached
absentees.
certain
I would like here to express
agreement
our gratitude
on both
to the Egyptian
sides.
authorities for the
on
attitude
the autonomy
they
talks.
have shown to our people
We
when
have
they came
agreed upon
to
the
search
fact
for the rest of soldiers
we
who had
should give
disappeared during the wars
More
from
momentum,
67 and 73, and
more
there is preparedness that an Israeli
to the
delegation,
full
in whatever they
autonomy
would think,
process,
they could come here and search.
and
All help would be given to them. But I must add, as I said, that
this
there
will
is
be the
much
responsibility of our two delegations.
appreciation for the attitude and
On
for
the
the
second
effort that is
issue,
being done by the
namely
Egyptians concerning this
normalization.
issue. If there are new ideas, how to
We have reached
search, where to search,
certain
I found
agreement.
all the heart open for that.
And I shall be asking my
In my
friend
Hebrew list,
President Navon
this is almost
to tell you
everything
about.
that I can remember having said.
And before I end, I shall be instructing
Yes, there was
my foreign
it was
minister
accepted or agreed already that the
ask
Committee for Culture
for an
should come to visit
urgent
Israel,
meeting
and
for the combined
come soon.
committee between Egypt and
they are,
Israel,
late in coming.
either
and
in
I hope they will come
Arish or in Beersheba, I don't know,
Mr. President,
by rotation,
as you don't read
which
Hebrew,
place
I read these
Arish
articles
or Beersheba,
in English.
to
It is
agree
easier
upon
in Hebrew.
the
And that's what,
detail
if I remember,
of
the
what
main
we have
things that,
reached
we agreed
together.
upon.
That's
And even
may
more
I
than that,
ask my colleague and
the
friend,
president is,
President
I
Navon,
mean,
to tell you
very modest.
about those issues.
He
Thank
has
you.
raised certain issues for the future. For instance,
President.
the
Ladies and
highway that will go through Sinai
Here are
and
the
Israel,
items
northern of
on
Eilat,
which President Sadat
to bring
and
together
myself agreed
the
that will be carried
eastern
through.
side with the western side.
There
that
are
I
things
spoke
that
about,
depend on both countries.
on the
There are
day
things that
of,
depend on Egypt, others that
celebrating
depend
the
on
opening
Israel.
of the tunnel.
And when
We have discussed
the,
also
the moment comes for
the
implementation,
railway
then we certainly will know who is responsible
project.
for what. First of
All these came after the
the
tunnel.
border connecting
And,
Egypt
let
and
us
Israel
hope
through El
that we
Arish
can
will be open
prepare
also for the
studies
transfer
on
of
both
merchandise.
sides, for the
As you
railways
know, merchandise until now would go by
to,
sea or by
bind together
air.
the two
But
people.
now, President Sadat has agreed that it would come also on land.
And lots of
merchandise.
things really we have discussed together, but I think the main
Secondly,
issues
the situation
President
of
Navon told you
tourists
about.
visiting Santa
And
Catarina
let me repeat again, I'm very deeply
will
grateful
continue
for this
in the future
gesture
as
from his
until
side
now.
to come
That's
to
say,
meetable
coming
point
from Israel, they could
and
go to
honor
Santa
me by this
Catarina.
visit. And thanks to you
Del
also,
Al
who has
We'll
came
have
here
another
to
flight
have a look
in the week
my village.
instead of
I'm
3,
always
4.
proud to show meetable
an
form
Israeli
as
exhibition
really
would
it
come
was
to
my
Egypt,
first
an
Egypt
Egyptian
that I
exhibition will
opened
be
my
opened
eyes.
in Israel.
This was
Such
Egypt
exhibitions
for me
would contain
until I left the
the
village
achievements
here
of each people
and
on the
joined the school
industrial,
there
on
in
the
Cairo.
cultural,
But
and
as I
cultural,
told you, I shall always be proud to
field.
say that whatever
I'm sure
principles,
that they can
values,
start now preparing it, and when both
whatever,
sides are ready, there will be this exchange
belief,
of exhibitions.
everything I learned here from this soil.
I told President
And I'm
Saadat that
very
in my
proud
speech
for that.
today, that I think
to meet
بعون
with
الله, I'm
you
going
here
to make the
and
party.
to thank
I
my
said
colleague,
that
President
at time of
Nabon,
war
for
you
this
need
for
a
this
headquarter
honor
for
that
war,
he
and at time
has
of peace you
bestowed
need
on
a
me. Thank you
headquarter
very
for
much.
peace. في أيام الحرب قيادة عليا للحرب وأيام السلام قيادة عليا للسلام. And let's make this قيادة عليا للسلام. In a more practical way, we agreed that a joint committee would be formed, composed of writers, sociologists, teachers, psychologists, and people representing the government to find ways and means how to promote peace, to study all the implications of peace between two nations who have been at war with each other, 4 wars for so many years, and came to make peace. There are
we all feel
obstacles
sad,
that
right?
prevent this from making study
And happy in the same time.
Yes,
really. And
but
how
I can
people
see
can
and
come
feel the
closer
sadness
together.
too, because we have to part,
yeah.
isn't it?
youth,
You lucky.
Egyptian youth
Come, dear.
and Israeli youth will be visiting each other in the summer. Until then,
Jewish, really, I don't want to make it to make formality. I want first of all really to let you know that we are happy to have President Nabon and Mrs. Nabon and all of you with them. Really, I believe you felt the same. You felt that we are happy to receive you. You felt the warmth of the people.
secondary
And
schools,
I cannot
maybe
tell
elementary,
you
we did not go
my
into
feeling
details.
when
See them
Mrs.
visiting
Nabon visited
Israel,
Pala
contacting
Society,
their
and the people
fellow,
there, as you
boys
have
and girls
seen,
and
or as
Israeli
some
boys
of
and
you
girls
have
coming,
seen, they are
to
very
Egypt.
simple. They are in the rural
Because we
areas.
believe that,
They made
that
what
the
they
peace
made
process
really from their
should
heart,
include
and I was deeply touched
youngsters so that when
from
they grow up, peace would become a natural thing.
sweet Inga. Really,
How
I
she started to
felt.
dance.
Yes, yes. You know, I felt that you are at home, and
delegations
they
that,
felt the same. And I was very surprised that they
Egyptian government
started
has already
meeting you
announced
by
or were prepared that they would come
the
to
national,
Israel.
yes,
They would
which
be
they
coming,
didn't know except yesterday, and
parliamentarian
for an
delegation.
orphan children in their age,
then
you know,
the
it was too hard.
party
Even for myself, I couldn't believe that they are going to do
That
this.
they played the
They played it for you,
yes.
especially for you.
delegation of editors
Yes,
was
in Tel
scheduled
Aviv.
to come.
And
Ministers,
really, I don't want
Egyptian
to
ministers
give
will come
formality,
to
but I
Israel.
want to let you know
I
that
think we mentioned
starting from not today only, but even before that, we will welcome anyone who will come from Israel. What my husband started will never stop, and we are for peace, and we believe that peace, all the area will benefit from it, not only our two countries, but the whole area, and we are doing our best to let peace prevail really for the whole area. And that will help if we are going to exchange more visits and to come closer to each other more and more. And this is what we are doing really.
All those agreements that have been signed between the two countries,
Are doing any effort
flight
to make any
culture,
contact with women leaders of other Arab countries to bring
agreements
them
will be
in
ratified
to the
by
peace
the
process.
Majlis.
To tell you the truth, the past period, I didn't contact anybody. But I know that
We spoke also about the
most of the people,
they said,
I don't want to say all, but
problem
let
of
me
the absentees.
say most of the people in the Arab
I
world,
would like here
they
to
are with
express
peace. I
our
received
gratitude
many
to the
professors
Egyptian
and
authorities
many doctors who are working
for
in the
the
Arab countries
attitude
and who are mixed
they
with the
have
people,
shown
and they told
to our
me
people
that
when
even
they came to
you know,
search for the
officially
rest
there is
of
no
soldiers who
relations,
had disappeared
but the
during
people
the
are all
wars,
with peace. And of
from
course,
67
when
and
it will
73,
reach the point
and
that we all wanted to reach,
there is
of course they will follow us immediately.
preparedness that the Israeli delegation, whatever they would think, they could come here
We know
and
who will be the third.
search.
We have a joke in Israel, we know who will be the third. You know who?
No, I
I
don't.
must
We always
add,
say in Israel,
as
we
I
know
said,
who will be the
that
third,
there is
Jordan.
much
But
appreciation.
well, I believe all of them.
Attitude
All of them, they
for
will
the
follow
effort that is
when we
being
reach
done
what my
by the
husband
Egyptians
really
concerning,
wanted, and what you
this,
also, I believe, want.
issue. If there are new ideas, how to search, where to search, I found all the heart open for that.
Doctors or missions between Egypt and Israel, or in other words, what will be the next step of
My Hebrew list.
Of course, President Nabon and my husband discussed this, and I think you have heard what they said yesterday in Tabulkum about this. And also Mrs. Nabon asked me about exchanging doctors, and there will be a seminar at the last 10 days in June here in Egypt and there in Alexandria, yes, and yes, yes.
20th of June, inshallah.
Inshallah, and 5 days in Tel Aviv.
You'll be one of the patronage.
Well, she's a professional. It is a professional meeting.
Well, I'm ready to come even
No,
before.
she's officially invited. She will come before with her husband.
Yes.
But
Well, when my husband will come, I will come with him.
That's
If
right.
not, if
And,
any opportunity, I will
even
come
more
really.
than
But you know, of
that,
course, that I have a schedule in the university that
president
makes me a little bit not easy to go around. Yes,
he has raised
women are more
for
sensitive
the
to
future.
things, and perhaps are even better
For
suited to
instance,
make progress for
the
peace.
highway
Do you think this
that
visit
will go through
has done
Sinai
something like
and Israel.
Believe me, I'm telling you the
Northern
truth.
Iran,
I met yesterday
bring together
some of the professors who attended.
the,
I shake hands with almost all of them
eastern
who
side
attended the meeting
the
with President
western
Nabon
side,
yesterday. They were attending the
that
dinner.
I spoke about
And this morning,
on
we were
the
talking
day
in the
of,
telephone. I wanted to hear the impression.
celebrating the opening of the
And
tunnel.
they are, all of them,
We have
professors,
discussed
and they are
also,
some of the
the
elite we have in
railway,
our country. And they told me the impression were
project.
really very, very nice, and President Nabon
all these came
really
after the tunnel.
left such a very good impression, and they
let us
discussed
hope that we
so
can
many things together
prepare
yesterday,
the study
and
on
they were
both
very,
sides,
very impressed by him.
for the railway.
And of course, it means that it was a very successful
bind
visit.
together.
Yes, dear.
And lots of things really we have discussed together, but I think the main issues President Navon told you about. And let me repeat again, I'm very deeply grateful for this gesture from his side to come to meet Tabulkum and honor me by this visit. And thanks to you also, who has came here.
I'll tell you, we were suffering and calling for a law which is called the civil rights law. And we took it recently, and we are very happy here because we can't say we are against divorce because we can't say this, it's in our holy book. And what we took it is through also our holy book and our Islamic Sharia, I would say.
the school
but
there
not
in
to be
Cairo.
as easy as it was.
But as I told
There
you,
are
I
some
shall
sort
always
of
be
limits,
proud
and I would
to
tell you
say that
something very simple,
whatever
that the flat, for instance, or the house
value,
where the parents are living, when they are divorced, the house is for the woman. Believe me, this simple thing made such a miracle, because it's a shortage, I believe, everywhere for housing. And then if they are divorced, then the house is for the divorced mother, woman, and her children to bring them up. And really, we've gained a lot from this civil rights law recently, and we are happy here as women with what we took.
Would you say that what is happening in Iran about going back to the Islamic tradition affects some part of the Egyptian population?
We can't say this because, you know, in Iran they are Shia. Here we don't have anyone Shia. We are all of us Sunni, which makes a difference in a way. And I don't think Khomeini gave such a good example for Muslims to follow. I don't think so.
No, we think so, but we are not sure if somebody else.
But to tell you the truth, we have also some fanatics. Yes, we have some fanatics who are just even covering their face with just two holes. They are minority, but we still have them. And this is not Islam. You know, Islam is not fanatic.
We all feel safe, right?
Islam is not just the surface of the thing
and happy in the
all
same
the
time.
trivial things and saying this is
see
Islam.
and
Islam is much deeper than that.
Because
And I believe here our people are much better than there. And I believe.
Oh, you lucky. Come close.
Would you permit? Really, I don't want to make it to make formality. I want first of all really to let you know that we are happy to have Miss President Nabon and Mrs. Nabon and all
First
of
of all, would you like me? Can I speak
really,
in English to these Israeli journalists?
I
or
believe
would you
you
prefer
felt this.
Hebrew?
You felt that we are happy to receive you.
First of all, I would like to say that I am very, very happy.
Tell you
very
my
happy.
feeling when
I feel that I went through an emotional, unique emotional
and the people
experience.
there, as you have seen, or as
and
some
I
of you
feel
have
a
seen,
deep sense
they are
of
very simple.
emotional
They are in the rural areas. They made what they made really from their heart, and I was deeply touched from
תרגשת הסיפוק העמוקה שאני מרגישה,
והחוויה
הנפשית העמוקה
really,
שאני עברתי.
I feel that I put a small stone I felt that you are at
in the
home
pyramid
and
of
they
peace.
felt the same, and I was very surprised that they
Navon
have built meeting you
here
by
in Egypt
during
this week.
The national,
I don't know what is the
which
size
they didn't
of my
know
stone.
except yesterday, and for an orphan children in their age,
I'm happy
you know,
that
it was too hard. Even for myself, I couldn't believe that they are going to do this.
Maybe you
they played it for you, especially for you. And it's more value than Palestine. And really, I don't want to give formality, but I want to let you know that
my psychiatrist.
starting from not today only, but even before, that we will welcome what my husband started will never stop.
Don't you know that,
we are for peace, and
that I have
we
a
believe
psychiatrist?
that peace,
It's not news anymore.
all
it
the
was
area
in
will
the
benefit from
paper,
it.
if
Not
I'm not
only our
mistaken,
two countries,
by
but
Miri
the whole
Paz,
area. And we are
and
doing
it was
our
in another
best
paper too.
to let peace prevail. Really,
But this
visit you will not need and that will help.
Well, why?
We are
On the
going to
contrary,
exchange
I will
more
have so much
visits
to
and
say.
come closer to each other more and more.
Now,
And this is what
going
we are doing.
back into more serious items,
Yes.
the achievement of the visit, as Madame Saadat said before, is that on the 20th of June, 81, inshallah, we will meet in Alexandria and in Tel Aviv for
To tell you
10
the
days
truth,
rehabilitation
the past
seminar.
period, I
It
didn't
is a professional seminar.
contact
It
anybody.
will have
But I
people
know
from
that
all over the world coming. the World
most of the
Rehabilitation
people,
Fund
I
is
don't
going
want
to
say all,
subsidize it,
say most
pay
of
for
the
it.
people
Ras,
in the Arab
no,
Gulf.
it's not Ras
They
himself,
are with
the
peace.
World
I
Rehabilitation
receive
Fund. It's
many
more than Ras.
professors
Yes, World
and many
Rehabilitation
doctors who are
Fund is
working there
a
in the
fund
Arab
of all the
countries and who are
rehabilitation in the
mixed
world.
with the people.
Ras is
and
the
they
father.
told you that
Bless you.
even
Ras is the father of
you know,
rehabilitation,
officially
but this is a
there is
universal
no relation,
organization.
but the people
Ras
are
has
all
built
with
rehabilitation
peace.
center
And
in
of course,
100
when
countries.
it will reach the point
And the World Rehabilitation
that
Fund
we all
is
wanted to
something
reach,
that works
of course
in all
they
these
will
countries.
follow us.
So they are going to pay for it. 5 days in Alexandria, 5 days in Tel Aviv, 7 specialists from all over the world, 15 specialists from Egypt,
We have a joke in Israel, we know
15
who will be the
specialists from
third. You know
Israel.
who?
They will pay all the
We always say in Israel, we know who will be
and
the
they
third,
will
Jordan.
arrange all
But
the
I
international conference.
well, I
Sadat
believe
and
all of them.
myself
All of
will
them they
only
will follow when we
pay
reach
for the
what my husband
cost
really
while they
wanted
are
and
in
what
our
you
countries, which is a minimal cost. We are going to call this Gladys Seminar. Gladys Seminar. Gladys is the name of Mrs. Rask's wife, who died in October 14th.
Of course, President Nabon and my husband discussed this, and I think you have heard
I
what
thought
they
it was a
said
secret
yesterday.
that didn't want me to say,
about
but
this.
if you
And
say
also
so, it's
Mrs.
okay.
Nabon
So it is also the name of
asked me about
Mrs. Sadat's
exchanging
mother,
doctors,
who
and there
passed
will
away,
be a seminar at the
unfortunately,
last
a
10
year
days
ago.
in June
So,
here in
excuse me?
Egypt.
No, she
and
is in English. She
in
was born in
Alexandria,
England.
yes, and
So
yes,
it's going to
yes.
be called Gladys Seminar.
Inshallah, and
Mrs. Sadat's
5
mother
days
passed
in
away a year
Tel
ago,
Aviv.
and Mrs. Rask's wife passed away the 14th of this
She's a
month.
professional. It is a professional thing.
Mrs. Sadat accepted my invitation to come to Israel.
Well, I'm ready to come even
No,
before.
she's officially invited. She will come before with her husband, but she's...
You can come by
Well,
yourself.
when my husband will come, I will come with him. If not, if any opportunity, I will
The
come really.
second
But you know, of
achievement
course, that I have a
was
schedule
reached
in the university
between the
makes me
Minister
a
of
little bit
Welfare and Social
not easy
Security,
to go around.
Dr. Osman.
Yes, yes.
And this is to build a social policy, an educational policy, cooperation between Israel and Egypt.
Believe
It is
me,
a
I'm
structure
telling you the truth.
of education and social
I met
policy
yesterday
between Egypt and Israel. And
some
Dr.
of the professors
Amal
who attended.
Osman
I shake hands
will
with
be
almost
the
all
head
of them who
of this
attended the meeting with President
cooperation.
Nabon yesterday.
And
they were
I
attending
invited
the
her
dinner.
to come to Israel.
And this morning,
and she accepted my invitation.
we were talking in the telephone. I want
And
to
she will
hear
come
the
to
impression.
Israel. She will
And
come
they
to
are
Israel on
all
the
of them
occasion
professors
of the
and
third
they are
achievement
some of
that
the
we
elite
had.
we have in our
I don't know
country.
if you know, but
And
we
they
have
told me
what
the
they have in the
impression
United
were
States,
really
the
very,
White
very
House
nice, and
Conference
President
for the
Nabon
Child.
really
In Israel, we will call it
left such a
Atzeret
very
Bet
good
Hanassi Shlom
impression,
Hayeled.
and they discussed
It is 2 years
so many things together
project.
yesterday.
It is a lobby
and they were very,
for the
very
benefit of
impressed
children. We are going to
by
push
him.
all
And
subjects
of course,
the children
it means
are
that it was
concerned.
a very successful
Either whether it is in the parliament, laws for the benefit of children, like unemployment for young children or the rights of the child that will pass in the Israeli parliament and maybe in the Egyptian parliament. There will be a group of specialists from Israel and from Egypt who will work together. I know it is a surprise for you, Madam Sadat, but I didn't want to press you and put upon you all the information and all the subjects. So I arranged a little bit with the minister, if you don't mind.
I'll tell you, we were suffering and calling for a law which is called the civil rights law. And we took it recently, and we are very happy here because we can't say we are against divorce. And because we can't say this, it's in our holy book. Stay with her mother. And what we took of them, 7 the boy, 9 the girl, book, and stay with their mother, and then the father takes them. Now
but
it's not really as easy as it was.
From 13
there are
till
some
15
sort of
for
limits,
the boy,
and I would tell you
and
something
the girl
very
from
simple,
18
that the
till she
flat, for
marries,
instance, or the house
with her
where
mother.
the parents
this
are
is
living,
also one of
when
the
they are
things which will
divorcing,
gain houses for the
not
woman,
only for the
believe
mother,
me, this
for the
simple
women,
thing
but for the children,
made such a
and
miracle
what we are looking
because
for,
it's
a
not
shortage,
a matter
I believe,
of
everywhere
for
for
women
housing,
against
and then
men or something. It's
if
for
they are divorced,
really the child
the house
and
is for
family,
the divorced mother, woman,
I'm very
and
glad
her
that you
children to
mentioned
bring
that.
them up.
I really think
And
it's a great
really
achievement for
we've
the
gained
benefit
a
of
lot
children.
from this civil rights
In
law
Israel it is
recently,
still
and we are
flexible.
happy here as women.
So in this
with what
עצרת
we
בית
took.
הנשיא לשלום הילד, the President Committee for the Benefit of Children, it is a 2-year project, and we started in Israel already 3 months ago, and we continue, and Dr. Amal Osman
We can't say this because, you know, in Iran they are Shia. Here we don't have anyone Shia.
Something at the end
We
of
are
the year or
all
the
of
beginning
us
of next
Sunni,
year.
which makes
The
a
third
difference
point
in a way.
I discussed
And I
with
don't think Khomeini
Minister,
gave such a
Osman,
good
the
example
Minister of
for
Welfare,
Muslims to follow. I
is
don't think so.
Children's Sanctuary. You all know about it. It is a
But to tell you the truth, we have also some fanatics. Yes, we have some fanatics who are just even covering their face with just 2 holes. They are minority, but we still have. And this is
an idea we had and discussed,
you know, Islam is
already
not
in
fanatic
Mexico
at all.
conference and in a
At all.
conference in
Islam
Madrid
is not just the
of
surface of
UNICEF.
the things
And it
and
is a small
holding
idea
the
of
trivial
mine
things
that
and
I
saying
thought
this is
that the
Islam.
children are the
Islam
first
is
one
much
to
deeper
suffer
than
from
that.
war,
And I
the
believe
first one
here
to
our
die
people are much
because of
better
hunger,
than
the first
there,
one
and
to
I
not to
beg
be
you.
able to take care of themselves. And I thought maybe we have to be ready and to have a structure of a city, shelter city for children. Wherever war is happening in the world, we will immediately come across and give shelter for the children. The place is not a permanent place. The place will be decided upon the parties who are at war. Please correct me. And like the Red Cross have a flag.
First of all, would you like me to
shelter
speak
the
in English to this
sick people in the hospital from being bombed.
First of all, I would like to say that
City
I
for
am
children
very,
will
very
have a
happy.
flag, and it will
Very
shelter
happy.
the children.
I feel that I
city
went
from being
through an
bombed.
emotional,
The place
unique
is
emotional
because we don't
experience
know where the
here
war
in
will be.
Egypt.
But what is
And
not
I
flexible,
feel
what
a
is
deep
we are
sense
going to
of
make
emotional
is a structure
satisfaction.
of, for example, all the pills needed
that
for
no
children,
one,
a pill
even
for
a bad
milk,
gossip,
a pill for
can take it away
vitamins,
from me.
a pill for wheat,
שום
all the
רכילות
food
רעה
that
לא
the
תוכל
children
לקחת
need.
אותה
So in
ממני.
case
את
of
הרגשת
war,
הסיפוק
you don't
העמוקה
have to
שאני
do
מרגישה,
Cambodia
והחוויה
immediately to
הנפשית
think what we're
העמוקה
going to
שאני
do with the
עברתי
children of
כאן.
Cambodia,
I
send them
feel
food and so.
that they
It's
put a
all will
small
be storaged in the pyramid of peace, but
President
the
Sadat
United
and
Nations,
President
by the United Nations or
Nabon
another organization,
have built
it will be all
here in
storage, and
Egypt
it will be
during this
also
week.
with
I don't know
tents,
what is the size
and will be
of my
also
stone.
with cover, blankets,
But
ohalim,
I'm happy that I
some
was,
educational tools,
with God's help, able to
let's
put
say
it.
crayons and papers.
Maybe you,
some
Mr. Sadat,
clay,
can tell me the
something
size.
educational thing
More
that you can
value
do
than
with the
any
children. Because I saw a very interesting film done by the CBS television about children in Cambodia. I think you all saw it. How children painted, and it was very exciting, Madame Sadat, to see they painted and all these terrible Holocaust.
Excuse me, don't you know
that they put it in the
that I
paper,
have a
and then after
psychiatrist?
several
It's not
months
used
they
anymore.
painted again,
It was in the
and the pictures were
paper,
different.
if I'm not
Because
mistaken,
when they were
by
already in the
Mary
institution and in a sheltered
And
place,
it was in another
the
paper
terrible,
too.
horrible things that happened to them were a little bit forgotten,
It's
and
true.
they painted a more joyful, pleasant
Well, why?
picture. So
On the
what I want to say
contrary, I
in
will have
short
so
is
much to say.
that the structure
Well,
of this
that's
sheltered city have to be
Now,
prepared in
going
advance
back into more
and utilized
serious,
immediately when it's
items,
needed, when
the achievement
something
of the
happened in
visit,
the world.
as Madame
So
Sadat said before,
the Minister
is
of
that on the
Welfare was very
20th of
excited
June,
and
81,
agreed with my
inshallah,
idea.
we will
and
meet
she
in
said she will cooperate
Alexandria
with
and in
me
Tel
on
Aviv
this, on
for
every
10 days
international
rehabilitation
level,
seminar.
wherever the It is a professional seminar. It will think of all over the world coming. The World Rehabilitation Fund is going to subsidize it, pay for it. No, it's not RASC himself. The World Rehabilitation Fund.
Well, the point is that
yes, World Rehabilitation Fund is a fund of all the rehabilitation in the world.
You cannot tell them bring your children here or there because they wouldn't agree. But when God forbid, when the war starts, like Afghanistan and some other place, then they decide immediately where is going to be the zone, where is going to be the field, where is going to be the place. And another thing of this idea, which is essential, is that people have to sign. All the world countries will have to sign that they take back
specialists
the
from Israel. They will pay all the transportation and they will arrange all the facilities.
Yes, they have to take them back because it's only a shelter. Like we went to a shelter when we were young children. But after the alarm finished,
which is a minimal cost.
We went back
we are going to call this
so the countries have to agree to take it back because otherwise which country will take $1 million or half $1 million of other countries' children?
Of Mrs. Rask's wife. Rask's wife,
who
died
in October 14th. That's right. This is, you are very intelligent. It's a good UNICEF. Well, this is UNICEF or something. UNICEF or United Nations will take upon its responsibility. We are working on it now with the help of Madame Saadat and the Minister of who died, and we have the agreement of the Mexican First Lady, Mrs. And we have the agreement of the head of UNICEF in England. And we have many other countries who are already very much for it. Now we only have a little bit to work. I met with Mr. Grant, who is the director of UNICEF in the world, in my last meeting in New York.
Mrs. Saadat accepted my invitation to come to Israel.
And so we have slowly, it is a dream, but I hope if you help, we will slowly be able to realize it because we think it's very important to have a shelter city for children because we have a saying in Hebrew, Avot achlu bosel,
the Minister of Welfare and Social Security.
Yes, we hope that will not happen. And the last thing, with your permission, is I'm sure you know
this is to build a social policy, an educational policy.
She likes it too.
Cooperation between Israel and Egypt. It is a structure of education and social policy between Egypt and Israel. And Dr. Amal Asman will be the head of this cooperation, and I invited her to come to Israel, and she accepted my invitation. And she will come to Israel. She will come to Israel on the occasion of the third achievement that we have. I don't know if you know, but we have what they have in the United States, the White House Conference for the Child. In Israel, we will call it Atzeret Bet Hanassi Shlom Hayeled. It is 2 years project. It is a lobby for the benefit of children. We are going to push all subjects that children are concerned, whether it is in the parliament, laws for the benefit of children, like unemployment for young children or the rights of the child that will pass in the Israeli parliament.
And
in the Egyptian
Nabon,
there will be a group of specialists from Israel and
we
from
are
Egypt
going
who will work
to
together.
governments. I know it is a surprise to you, Madame Saadat, but will show that the 60% of the roots of the Arabic language,
so I arranged a little bit with
Minister, if you don't mind, 60% מהשורשים של השפה העברית והערבית. It will have a big psychological impact on people from both sides. Egyptians will know that they know 60% Hebrew. Israelis will know that they know 60% Arabic, which make it very easy for the rest of the
to stay with her mother. Both of them, 7 the boy and 9 the girl, stay with their mother, and then the father takes them. Now it's raised till from 13 till 15 for the boy, and the girl from 18 till she married. with
and
her
show
mother.
the 60%
And this is
that
also
it is
one of
similar,
the things which
and this
we
will be
gain,
the beginning of
not
the book.
only for the
And
mother,
after that,
for
the
the women,
second
but
part
for
of
the
the same
children.
book, in the same
And what
book
we are
will be
looking for,
40%
it's not
of
a
the
matter
not
of a law
similar,
for
which we will
women
have to use
against
a
men
little
or
bit of our
something. It's
mind
for
to
the
study.
really the
But
child
we think
and
it is a
the
very
family.
important thing in the step of
I'm very
understanding
glad that you
between our
mentioned
people.
that.
I really think it's a great achievement for the benefit of children. In Israel, it is still flexible. So in this Achterat Bet Nasi L'Shlom Hayeled, the President Committee for the Benefit of Children, it is a 2 years project, and we started in Israel already 3 months ago, and we continue, and Dr. Amal Osman agreed to be the guest of the first meeting, the first official meeting in Israel. The date will be something at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. The third point I discussed with Minister Osman, the Minister of Welfare, is Children's Sanctuary. You all know about it. It is Ra'yiat.
She really knew Arabic. And it was really her idea. And President Navon mentioned when he found his wife so fascinated with the idea that 60 words, there was a research done, and they found out that 60% of the roots in both languages were common. And it was Mrs. Navon's idea.
And it is a small idea of mine that I thought that the children are the first one to suffer from war, the first one to die because of hunger, the first one to not to be able to take care of
I am not a specialist.
And I thought maybe we have to be ready and to have a structure of a city, shelter city for children, wherever war is happening in the world, that we will immediately come across and give shelter for the children. The place is not a permanent place.
It's not my job.
The place will be decided by parties who are at war. And like the Red Cross have a flag that sheltered the sick people in the hospital from being bombed. This shelter city for children will have a flag, and it will shelter the children city from being bombed. The place is flexible because we don't know where the war will be. But what is not flexible and what we are going to make is a structure of, for example, all the pills needed for children, a pill for milk, a pill for vitamins, a pill for wheat. All the food the children need. So in case of war, you don't have to do Cambodia immediately to think what we're going to do with the children of Cambodia, send them food and so on. It all will be storage. Muhsan, כל זה יהיה מוחסן על ידי United Nations, by the United Nations or another organization. It will be all storage, and it will be also with tents, and will be also with covers, blankets, smichot, ohalim, some educational tools. Well, we have crayons and papers, some clay, something educational things that you can do with the children. Because I saw a very interesting film done by the CBS television about children in Cambodia. I think you all saw it. How children painted, and it was very exciting, Madame Saadat, to see they painted and all the terrible Holocaust, all the terrible things that they went through. They put it in the paper, and then after several months they painted again, and the pictures were different, because when they were already in the institution and in a sheltered place, the terrible, horrible things that happened to them were a little bit forgotten, and they painted a more joyful, pleasant picture. So what I want to say in short is that the structure of this sheltered city have to be prepared in advance and utilized immediately when it's needed, when something happened in the world. So the Minister of Welfare was very excited and agreed with my idea, and she said she will cooperate with me on this on every international level, wherever the subject will come.
Do you have the flag?
Well, we'll think about it.
Do you have a name for it?
A name? The name is either sheltered city or a sanctuary city or Arei Miklat. We have
it will be this in the same country, or
well, the point is the place have to be agreed between the people who are at war. Because you cannot tell them where,
here, for instance.
You cannot tell them bring your children here or there, because they wouldn't agree. But when the God forbid, when the war starts, let's say Afghanistan or some other place, then they decide immediately where is going to be the zone, where is going to be the field, where is going to be the place. And another thing of this idea which is essential is that people have to sign. All the world countries will have to sign that they take back the children
when
after
everything
the
is
war. Yes, they have to take them back because it's only a shelter. Like we went to a shelter when we were young children.
Yes.
But after the alarm finished, אחרי שהאזעקה נגמרה, עלינו בחזרה הביתה. After the alarm finished, we went back home, right? So the countries have to agree to take it back, because otherwise, which country will take 1 million or 500,000 of other countries'
But
children?
in the beginning, will it be a treaty like the Geneva Treaty that every country in the world will be asked to sign it?
Yes, that's right. This is, you are very
And it will be
intelligent. It's a
financed by
good
the UNICEF or by the United Nations?
Well, this is UNICEF or something. UNICEF or United Nations will take upon its responsibility. We are working on it now with the help of Madame Saadat and the Minister Osman. And we have the agreement of the Mexican First Lady, Mrs. Lopez Portillo. And we have the agreement of Sir Ledwidge, the head of UNICEF in England. And we have many, many other countries who are already very much for it. Now we only have a little bit to work. I met with Mr. Grant, who is the director of UNICEF in the world, in my last meeting in New York, and he is all for it. And so we have slowly, it is a dream, but I hope with your help, we will slowly be able to realize it, because we think it's very, very important to have a shelter city for children, because we have a saying in Hebrew, Avot achlu boser, shinei banim tikhena.
And let's hope it's not our children.
Yes, so that's what we hope, that it will not happen. And the last thing, with your permission, is I'm sure you know this charming lady.
Yes, we are fascinated by
in
her.
love with her.
She likes you too. This is Mrs. Latifa Zaki. She is working for her doctorate in nationalism.
The impact of nationalism on language policy.
You have the impact of nationalism on language policy.
Language and
policy. Language policy. ההשפעה של הלאומנות על השפה. She's also teaching at the university. American University in Cairo.
Mrs. Saadat is my ideal. Everybody in Egypt tries to be like Mrs. Saadat.
Well, lucky Egypt to have such an ideal.
And lucky Israel also. We are going to exchange, compliments now.
No, but in your case it's not a compliment. So Mrs. Zaki and myself, and with the blessing of President Saadat, he gave us the blessing last night, and with the agreement of Mr. Zaki, who is the husband of Mrs. Zaki and the Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources in Egypt, who agreed to it also, and President Navon, who accepted the idea. The two governments are going to publish a book that will show that the 60% of the roots of the Arabic language and the Hebrew language is the same. 60% מהשורשים של השפה העברית והערבית. It will have a big psychological impact on people from both sides. Egyptians will know that they know 60% Hebrew. The Israelis will know that they know 60% Arabic, which make it very easy for the rest of the 40.
I didn't know that I speak Arabic.
I can show you.
We know.
This is the
words,
basis. So this is the basis of the language. Mrs. Zaki will form a committee in Egypt. I will form a committee in Israel. This committee will sit down and trace. We know there is already research done, and show the 60% that it is similar, and this will be the beginning of the book. And after that, the second part of the same book, will be 40% of the not similar, which we will have to use a little bit of our mind to study. But we think it is a very important thing in the step of understanding between our people. And I thank Mrs. Zaki for her cooperation during this project.
Thank you. May I just add something?
Please, yes.
This is thanks to Mrs. Navon. It was her idea she was fascinated every time we spoke Arabic, how similar the two languages were.
She's this from her husband.
Yes, I think so. And the fact that President Navon speaks Arabic, I think, was a wonderful thing. Yes. Language, I think, breaks barriers between countries. And Mrs. Navon was fascinated. Every time she said, "What did you say?" I would say, "I said this." She said, "Ah, but it's the same thing in Hebrew." So all the time, she was finding out that she really knew Arabic. And it was really her idea. And President Navon mentioned, when he found his wife so fascinated with the idea, that 60 words, there was a research done, and they found out that 60% of the roots in both languages were common. And it was Mrs. Navon's idea, and with the blessings of Mrs. Saadat, would be a good cultural
yes, of course.
coordination between. Thank you. I am not a specialist in this. All I am going to do is try and put together a team, introduce the people to each other who are specialists. I'm not a specialist in this. I just happen to be with Mrs. Navon because my husband was the head of the mission. And this is my role. It's not my idea. It's not my job. It's her idea. And I'm just helping.
No, but with your background, and as you see, she's working for her doctorate in nationalism in language, so it's not so far away from her subject. And the cream of the cake is, I mean, not so important like the rest of the things, but Madame Saadat and President Saadat agreed that the beautiful folklore dance of the Egyptian people will come to Israel under my auspices to
What's the name of the
Rida True.
Rida True. There is a meaning to the name Rida.
Rida. It's their name. Rida.
It's a folklore.
It's a folklore group
Rida.
of dancers.
Yes, we decided this because they told me that they wanted a doctor just to start an operation in front of them, even for once.
We heard that Professor Kaplan is making first operation Sunday morning. Is it true?
Is it true?
Well, we hear good news. That's wonderful.
With pleasure.
Wonderful.
If you would decide this, I will arrange everything for him.
Yes, I'm sure it was decided. If you heard it, it's already.
I think my secretary also now said.
We've just been asked by the Waqf Amal doctors whether the Mrs. Saadat reason